Well, hello everyone. Today is September 12th, and yep, it's still storm season here in Ontario. However, today I'm not very optimistic, and you can see why. It's very cloudy all around. Generally, not happy about that. So I'm not expecting too much. I'm not too hopeful. I think today might be a bust. We'll have to see. Our forecast, however, for today, I'll show you here. We figured out a target area around Southwest Ontario. This yellow circle here around Wallaceburg, and the secondary area is up here. Now, I wanted to have a little bit more conversation about this sounding. We haven't had one of these yet, so I wanted to include that. And it's 2:30, so I still have a lot of time, so might as well. So here's a sounding at Detroit. Sounding is basically a vertical profile of the atmosphere. So this is at 12Z, so around 10 a.m. This morning. So the red line here is temperature, and the green line is dew point. And the dotted line here is the CAPE, the infamous convective available potential energy. This is the updraft speed, or the lapse rate, sorry. So the updraft speed is here. The lapse rate, 8.7, which is pretty decent. Anyways, there's a bunch of other stuff on here, but what I want you to pay attention to is, you see here, if you were to draw all that in, that would be your convective available potential energy, and it's quite large. However, if you look at the chart, on the left here, it tells you how high you are in the atmosphere. So this large area of CAPE is between, like, I don't know, 4 kilometers and 12 kilometers. So that would be essentially what we would consider, elevated CAPE, elevated instability. Now, if we look at the lower levels, because we like to have surface-based storms, it gets really dry here. And here, you can see area here. So if you were to draw into that area between the dotted line and the temperature line, you would have your SIN, or your convective inhibition, or your cap, essentially. So here is a pretty steep cap in the morning, and you can see that just by all this cloud. This is a very stable layer near the surface. Now, what's going to happen, or what needs to happen, and that's why we're essentially sunshine chasing today, we need this temperature line to go all the way up here so that the cap is removed. If this cap is removed, then all this mixed instability will mix in, and that will get some surface-based storms. Now, I don't think that's going to happen too much today, and that's the main issue with today, and that's why it's not a higher risk day. So if you look at current satellite, you can see all this cloud up here. It sucks. And then in our primary target area is down here. You can see clouds moving in, some patch, some sunshine, in extreme Southwest Ontario. So that's what's happening, and that's why I'm not too hopeful, because with all this elevated instability, we're probably not going to have surface-based storms. It's going to be very hard to have that, especially if cloud continues. It's 2:30, so no bueno, essentially. We might get some elevated storms later, but for now, just east of Sarnia. It's a pretty big discussion right now, but I wanted to show you because it's just textbook sounding. So if we look at one last thing here, just the fronts, stationary front, which isn't helping our cause. It's not gonna help with the forcing too much. So I think this should move a little bit south, and that's basically bringing all the clouds and all that crap, and hopefully the low here becomes, comes a little bit more east. So what's happening is essentially I'm about probably 30 minutes or so from the area where I'm gonna sit for a long time. I should have brought a book, I forgot, but I'm probably gonna be sitting here for hours until 7 p.m. ish, and that's probably when storms will start firing. All right, here's a little update. So it's 3:30, kind of arrived at where I want to be, at the truck stop off the 401. Yeah, so if we take a look at actually where I am, so I'm just east of Sarnia. This is the slight risk from the Storm Prediction Center in yellow. There's a cluster of storms, entering Michigan. So I'm kind of like in the middle of where I want to be for today, because my two targets are, that's my primary target, and then the other secondary target is up here. Eventually what's gonna happen is I'm gonna, watch some TV on the tablet and have my coffee and maybe nap a little bit, and that's storm chasing in Ontario. Welcome. So really a brief update here. It's almost 5 p.m. Severe thunderstorm watches issued for areas in yellow, and then it looks more like a cold front now. Not too much stationary, but I think that's probably being depicted because of the Lake Huron kind of lake breeze going on. There's a cluster of storms right here, and that's going to be the cluster that we're interested in. So we just gotta wait until it gets to us, and that'll probably take another hour or so. So it looks like I'm gonna keep hanging out with the pigs and the truckers, and looks like those pigs are not happy, and keep watching my show until it happens. It's now 7 p.m. and we catched up on a lot of shows. So now this storm is no longer a severe one, but it has a lot of lightning just to our west. So now is the time to go south and then go west and try and get some lightning shots. Still very cloudy. Only instability to work with is elevated. So expect the storm to be very elevated. But let's get on it. So here you go, folks. Got an elevated storm coming off from the States behind me. Very elevated, so shooting some lightning. Seems like a good spot. Now I'm doing exactly what you probably shouldn't do, driving right into the core towards Newbury, and there's definitely hail in this, as you can see in front of me. So that storm is just garbage now. Well, I guess it was always garbage. It's just a lot of rain, expected. So it's moving off to Lake Erie now. So the question is, do I go all out and wait for this stuff in Sarnia to hit Sarnia, or do I just go home and call it a day? That is the question. And I decided to stay for the late show and yeah, just hang out just to my west, and here comes Mark, but hopefully we'll get some CGs. Where was that?
I think it was right over here.
Look at the video. It's like nonstop.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Phone's supposed to be waterproof, so I guess the core is right behind this tree line.
Yeah.
Like the frame rate on my camera is just not able to handle how many bolts it's throwing at us.
Yeah.
Oh, just getting blasted in the core now. It's pretty intense CGs and CCs in there. But now it's just a big blob of wind and hail. So now I'm on the backside of the storms. It's like 10 p.m. at night. Trying to get some nice lightning shots in the middle of a field. Very safe. Well, looks like not going this way. Really large tree down here. Looks like a really healthy tree and a pretty large one too. So fell in an easterly direction. So assuming it's from the straight line winds. So I'm actually going out to house right now on this path. Looks like tornado damage. Very narrow path. Just going, I can't see because it's too dark, but I'm going along the path and trying to figure out if people are okay. There's no hydro, so a significant event. Not only there's all damage, but this is the 402 now, major highway. See a car in the ditch. Can't really do too much. Assume the person is fine. But it's time to get home because it's getting dangerous to drive around here. There's debris everywhere. Looks like a pretty significant either downburst or microburst or something happened around here. So today is September 14th. We're still trekking into storm season in Ontario. So this is our forecast for today. We're forecasting a tornado outbreak in this region. So we have Barrie up here, and then Midland up here, and then Cottage Country, and then Grey, Bruce County up here, and then severe weather along the cold front. So we posted this yesterday, and then yesterday we did a model blend. We put ingredients that we think is good for tornadoes. And then, we put it all on the map. Essentially, this is what we do in our brain. But put it on our map because it's all visual and nice. And then parameters seem to all converge on this point. So that's our target area for today. And then if we look at this morning, the morning of is not really to pick a target. It's more to validate the target and refine it. So the morning of, you should be confident of your target and not switch completely your target. You should essentially refine, okay, what time am I leaving? What time should I be there? That's the kind of things you should be refining. Or, maybe you should go a little bit west instead of in the middle or east. So if we look at this morning, it's 10 a.m. See the cold front is up here right now, so west of Lake Michigan. The warm front is entering Western Ontario. It's a little bit later. It's a little bit late. So if anything, target area is going to be refined to the more to the central / western part of this black area here. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm not going to go after the for sure nice structure, which would be along this cold front on Lake Huron. I'm going to go for the tornado risk today. And I'm going to go wherever I think the tornado risk is highest, which is in this location here for me. I mean, I can't go up here. It's all trees and it's unchaseable. So this is basically the next best thing for tornado risk to see a tornado today. Just a quick update. About to leave here. So tornado watch is issued for regions in yellow here, and the watch says line of severe thunderstorms expected to move eastward across the region. Some of these storms will likely contain tornadoes. Dangerous and potentially life-threatening situation. We haven't had very much tornado watches for Southwest or Southern Ontario in general. this year. This is a big deal. I think we've had like maybe 3, if that. So very big day on tap. I'm about to leave here, head into this region. So give you updates from the field. Feeling incredibly nervous right now. Sick to my stomach almost. Today is going to be one of those higher end days. I've been having this eerie feeling all morning that I'm going to be, doing door to door through debris. For some reason, I have this mental image I don't know if I'm scarred or something, but I have this feeling that's gonna be the end of the chase today. And for sure, we're gonna be doing some damage surveys. Probably tomorrow, probably a few days after today, but it's incredibly nervous feeling right now of just uneasiness, the potential for today's insane in Ontario. Similar feeling to those high risk storm prediction center issuance down south when we're chasing. So we'll see what happens, and hopefully I'm wrong, and hopefully most of the meteorologists are wrong about the potential for strong tornadoes today. Guess we'll see what happens. We're in Owen Sound, just waiting. It's really warm. We're in the open warm sector now. The sin in blue here is burning out because we have sunshine essentially. And then ML Cape is building 2000. Should be primed, should be at the max that it's going to get right now. And if we look at our satellite imagery, this is the open warm sector here. The warm front is like this. So storms should develop on the cold front. It's hard to see on the satellite, so let me just pull the actual fronts. So cold front's up here. It's probably like up here now. This is a bit ago. Warm front's up here, and we're just here. And supercell composites are going up, so we got 12 in our area, 16 coming across the Lake Huron. Still very volatile setup. This is where we are. This is looking at radar now. See storms initiating here in northern Michigan. These are going to be the storms to watch in the next hour or so as they make their way across here. You can see all the chasers are starting to move northwest here. So yeah, still on par with the setup. I expect in about 2 hours is when we're going to start seeing some interesting stuff. It's 4 p.m. Got storms firing along the cold front over Lake Huron, pretty much on schedule. We're still up here, Owen Sound, where parameters are maxed out for tornadoes right now. So waiting for this cluster to essentially move towards us. Now we're going to try and resist the temptation to go west and try and see this over Lake Huron, because that's going to be hard for us to go back east and then catch up with the storms later. So really want the storms to be mature when we're in front of it to maximize our chances to see tornadoes today. So now we're trucking along. It's 4:30. We got a cluster of storms just to our west. Fortunately, it's trees everywhere, so trying to get a good vantage point to check these out. So I made it to these storms. It's really elevated, not really interesting at all. So I'm just gonna wait until it gets on top of me more, and I guess these ones too, to grow and see what happens. Here's an update. It's still pretty elevated, somewhat of a base here on the left. Here's the hill core, I guess. Here's what it looks like on radar. I'm up here, basically just on the edge of the hill core. And some kind of a bowl or something going on. Clavering, apparently. It's the core right here. And then this thing, it's a bit of left to right motion. It's pretty elevated, so kind of disappointed. I didn't think they were going to be, storms are going to be so elevated here, but it's what we got to deal with. Not much visibility here, but so we got to take a field when you see one. It's basically looks like the worst I've seen so far.
We've been wandering in the dark, a million miles apart, going nowhere. Believe that even if we're lost, you know it won't be long till we get there. Ooh, spinning round, no control. Burning down, letting go. We've been wandering in the dark, but no matter where we are, just remember.
Well, looks like I'm probably done here. There's not much daylight left. There was a few hope here and there, but it's the end of that, I think. The day that could have been. Well, definitely not the tornado outbreak that a lot of us were expecting, so pretty much done with these storms. They're elevated crap. Pretty much be done for the day.
Used to chase that Chattanooga freight, couple of kids in a Chevrolet. Catch a little Larry when we cross the track, sipping on something from a paper sack. You hang your shirt on a maple lip, slipping through the moon to the riverbend. Wasn't very long, I was jumping in. I guess I'm still doing now what I was doing then. Chasing you like a shot of whiskey, burning, going down, burning, going down. Chasing you like those goodbye taillights, headed west anywhere out of this nowhere town. Chasing that freedom, chasing that feeling that got gone too soon. Chasing that you and me, I only see in my rear view. Hell, I'm laying here tonight, holding someone new. Still chasing you, still chasing you, yeah. You always used to talk about LA. I heard you got as far as Santa Fe. Well, you know I tried to track you down. I only got as far as Guitar Town. Singing about a girl I used to know, but you should know that I haven't given up. I'm just on your radio, chasing you like a shot of whiskey, burning, going down, burning, going down. Chasing you like those goodbye taillights, headed west anywhere out of this nowhere town. Chasing that freedom, chasing that feeling that got gone too soon. Chasing that you and me, I only see in my rear view. Hell, I'm laying here tonight, holding someone new. Still chasing you, still chasing you.